Y'all ready for this? Good morning, YouTube. What's up, guys? Today is Sunday, and that means it's a Sunday run day, right? Doesn't it mean that for you? Well, it means that for me. And that also means I have another shoe that I'm gonna try. So if you guys have been following this channel, you know that I gave the New Balance Fuelcell Rebel Shoe of the Year. And if you don't know anything about that, hi, welcome to the channel. So I reached out to New Balance, I showed them the video, and they were like, hey, this video is really cool. Let us know if there's anything else you want to try. So I was like, all right, can I try the Fuelcell Propel? And they were like, yeah. So then I was like, cool, and then I got the shoe, and here it is in my hand. So I'm pretty much ready to go. I just gotta lace these up, wait for Kate. We're gonna go on an 8-mile run in a nice scenic area, so you won't be looking at the same residential, suburban, home stuff that you're always looking at in my videos. It's gonna be a lot nicer today, and I'm excited to do some filming in there. So let's go, let's get this show on the road. I also really need a tan. Who it is.
What's up, everybody?
Ready to get her life on a Sunday run day.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You gotta get out there.
Yes. The name of the song this week is Get Up and Try. What does getting up and trying mean to you?
You know what? Getting up and trying means a lot. You have to get up and try. Get up.
Get up.
You're capable of more than you think all the time. Your mind says one thing, your body does another. You get your mind right, you get up and try, and great things will happen to you, I promise.
Look closer, oh she's so flirty. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her, she can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her, I fall and try again. Get up and try. Get up and try again. Get up and try.
4 miles in 30:36, so that's a 7:38 pace. And now I'm gonna hang out here and wait for Kate to run by, and for Ariana to get here, and then we're gonna run back at a solid, nice, steady pace. The shoes feel pretty good so far. They're definitely more responsive than the Tanity V10s, but they definitely have a little less cushioning underfoot. But I think that's the point of the Fuelcell line of shoes, so I'm not super shocked by that or disappointed by that. It's just a different ride. As far as the difference between the Rebels and the Propels, I like the fit of the Rebels a little bit better. But we're gonna pause on this because here comes Kate Rowe killing the game. Are you kidding? You're killing it. But yeah, just waiting for Ariana now. She should be here very soon. Look who I found. How's it going out here?
It's going. It's a beautiful day.
It is. How you feel?
I feel okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Get up and try again. Love the way we are together, and then we always stay this way. And I wanna
All right, guys, I'm back from my run, and it's time that we talk all about the New Balance Fuelcell Propel. I really haven't seen too many reviews on this shoe, and it's puzzling as to why. I mean, everybody really loved the New Balance Fuelcell Rebel, me included. In fact, I made it my shoe of the year for 2019. So it's strange to me that nobody's really reviewed it. I mean, some people have, but I figured I'd give it a shot. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been loving New Balance shoes lately. Like, they're bringing the heat. They have some other stuff that's coming out that's like gonna blow you out of the water. I loved But I love the 1080 V10 and I love the Fuelcell Rebel. That's 3 shoes right there because this shoe is no different. I really liked the Propel and I feel like it's an underrated shoe. And I can just tell that from my first run in it. It's marked down like everywhere. On runningwarehouse.com right now, you can get this shoe for $89.95. Hello, that's super low. And if you use my coupon code RUNHELLER in all caps, you can get 10% off. So I mean, like, go buy it right now. No, don't do that. Wait till the end of the review, then you can kind of decide for yourself. But spoiler alert, I think it's worth it. Okay, so New Balance kind of has 2 lines of shoes right now that are pretty much killing the game. They have their fresh foam shoes, like the 1080 V10 and the Beacon. Fresh Foam X is literally the best thing and I can't wait for them to put it in the Beacon. And then they have the Fuelcell line of shoes. So that's the Fuelcell Propel and the Fuelcell Rebel and maybe that Miles shoe that Jenny Simpson created that I could never run in because I'm too slow. But I think the difference between the 2 lineups is that the Fuelcell foam is supposed to be a little bit firmer and just a little bit more responsive. And I can definitely see that that is true, but it's not in a bad way, it's actually in a pretty good way. But let's talk about how it felt to run in the Propel. In my first couple of steps in this shoe, I noticed that it's definitely a little bit cushier than the Rebel. It's the same responsive springy foam, but it's just a little more of it, which kept me really protected and comfortable on my 8-mile run. There is absolutely some response in that midsole, so I did feel my foot springing up a bit during my turnover. It's not a snappy toe off like the Rebel, but it gets the job done and I felt good and confident in my stride. I love Fuelcell foam. I think it's the perfect combination of soft and firm and responsive all in one package, and that's really all that runners can ask for. I definitely felt like there was less cushioning in the forefoot of the Propel than there is in the heel, and you can even kind of see that just by looking at the shoe. But it didn't really cause me any problems. Again, I ran 8 miles. I did the first 4 miles at more of like a tempo pace for me, and then the last 4 were more of like an easy pace for me. I would say that the Propel felt better on the easier miles than it did in the tempo side of things, and that's just because it's heavier and it's just a little bit bulkier of a shoe, whereas the Rebel is more nimble and conforms to your foot better, so you just have an easier time going fast. The upper of the shoe is a nice engineered mesh and it has some trace fiber stitching just like the Rebel does to keep your midfoot sort of locked in there and on the platform stably. The mesh is breathable and I don't think it's going to be too hot in the summer, although it's freezing outside right now, so I'd really have to take it out in a hotter climate. People who live in like hot weather, let me know if this shoe is good in the heat because I can't test it out until like probably June. There's no pull tab on the shoe, but the heel does flare out, so you can kind of bend it backwards, and all right, we'll take it, it works. It's not a pull tab, but... And I also really like this shoe because it is supposed to be a daily trainer, but there's not a ton of this beefed up, ridiculous padding in the heel counter area. It has exactly what you need, not too much, not too little. It's perfect. The mesh on the Propel is definitely on the softer side if you're comparing it to the Rebel, but they're both fine and perfectly comfortable. I'd say this is a little bit more forgiving and comfortable, but I think it's just personal preference. Both the Propel and the Rebel have that bungee cord looking lacing system. Again, I'm not really sure why New Balance is doing that, but I've had no problems in it, so I guess it works just fine. I could get a good, decent lockdown, but I would say the lockdown is slightly better in the Rebel. I had some issues with the upper in the Propel just because I think my foot is so narrow. There's a little more volume in the Propel than there is in the Rebel. I was having a little bit of trouble locking it down. When I got to the 4-mile mark, when I stopped my tempo miles, I did go back and tie my shoes. And that's not something that I really love to do. You know, I don't want to have to be tying my shoes in the middle of a run. That's kind of a negative for me. After I did retie it, it felt better, but it's still something that I wanted to note because if you have a really narrow foot, this might not be the best option for you. Just as a tip, the shoe is fairly true to size. I always have a little bit of an issue in New Balance shoes where the 10.5 just fits. It's just there. It's just enough. I could maybe use a little more room, but the half size up, the 11, I know guys, I know I have big feet. It would be a little too big, thank God. Again, just something to be aware of. you might want to try this shoe on before buying it. If you turn this shoe over, you'll see that there's some nice N-Durance, I think it's N-Durance rubber on the outsole with some exposed Fuelcell foam in here and some nice flex grooves. See, this shoe flex is nice. It's not stiff, and I really appreciated that on my run. I felt like my foot was able to kind of do what it wanted to do. I didn't have any problems with slipping on anything. There was dirt, there was gravel, there was pavement. All of it was fine. I will say I do feel like this rubber makes this shoe heavier, and I get that it's not really supposed to be like a light shoe, but I think maybe there's a different way to do this. I kind of like the crystallized sort of rubber on the Rebel better. That being said, the shoe is still pretty light for a daily trainer. It's 7.7 ounces for a women's size 8, which I believe is lighter than the 1080 V10. Overall, I really like this shoe. I think it's pretty underrated. Again, I haven't really seen too many people talking about it, but I think it's a great option if you're looking for a trainer that you can bring on those longer miles and maybe slower miles, and then use the Rebel as your faster day shoe. This is the perfect combination right here. We go together like So if we're gonna compare the two daily trainers, the Fuelcell Propel and the Fresh Foam 1080 V10, I think my choice would be, I think I would pick the 1080 V10 still because I just love this shoe. We have such a great relationship. The Fresh Foam X Foam is just, I mean, it's fantastic. I love Max Cushion shoes. This is a little more responsive, a little less cushion, still cushioned though. To me, it doesn't have that like magical feeling underfoot that the 1080 V10 does, but some people might not like the 1080 V10. Maybe it's you sink down too much in it. I mean, it's all personal preference. So that's just me. I'd pick the 1080 V10, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't check this shoe out because it's awesome. New Balance is killing it, guys, and this shoe needs more attention. All right, well, that kind of concludes my first run impressions of the New Balance Fuelcell Propel. I'm definitely gonna give a full review of this shoe and see how it holds up after 50 miles. It's a steal, guys. For the price, I mean, come on. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And I know you're not done yet. You have to hit that notifications bell down below so you can be alerted every time I upload a new video. And I know that's what you guys wait for all week long, right? I have another video coming to you guys next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget, never forget, to run like Heller. See you next time. What do we do after a 8-mile run? We eat
your face off.
burgers.
The size of your face.
The size of your face.